The game turned me to a monster. No obstacle that I can't conquer. No, sub me and watch me go bonkers.
Ryan with the Til You Collapse Podcast. Scotty.
What's going on? It's good to be back.
I got a funny story for everyone today, actually.
Oh, gosh. What's the funny story?
So, you know us. We're always making videos for you guys every 3 to 4 a day out here. And we actually we did a special video today with a smog machine.
Fog machine.
Smog. It's all the fucking same. A fog machine, smog. Who knows what it was putting out. But anyways, I get a call from the property management company. They're like, hey.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
What did they say?
One of the neighbors called. They thought we were hotboxing. They
No,
thought that was
they
real.
didn't.
They thought that was They thought it was real weed smoke.
They thought we actually hotboxed that whole thing?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I'm like, shit. I wish, playa.
Oh
It
my gosh.
wasn't really hotboxing, but how funny is that? We
What
made
did
one
they
video.
say?
We made an epic video in the gym earlier today.
Yeah.
We used the fog machine, and it's gonna be funny when you guys see it. It'll be funny. But anyways, I can't do it.
I wish I got that call on
I wish
camera.
you got the call, because you know what that
so
fucking
funny.
does? Motivates me to buy our own fucking building. We can
That's
do whatever
crazy.
the fuck we want to do.
That's like they've been complaining to us about
they
other stuff
complain about
too.
music. You know, usually we have music bumping in here, like killing the
Hey,
vibe.
motivation.
You know, motivate me. I'm gonna buy my own fucking place.
That's crazy. I didn't know they called you about that.
I'm like, was this today? Because the only smoke hotbox I could think of is we just did a huge. And she's like, yeah, it was today. I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Oh.
Man,
Are
people
they
are always
like-
looking for reasons to bitch and hating on you, man. So, anyways, I'm motivated by us. We're gonna go from 5,000 to at least 15,000 square feet, guys.
Let's
So
do it.
There you go.
that's the goal.
Big moves.
within the next year. So, guys, I got a real special guest on today. It's actually someone I don't know that much personally, but what I do know, I fucking like of him. He's breaking records across the nation. It's one of the top mortgage lenders in the whole nation. He does real estate flips. He does investments. He's a family man, and like I said, I really want to get to know him more because he motivates and inspires me. I'd like to introduce Shelby Elias.
Yo,
How you doing, man?
I'm great.
How you feeling? You feeling good after those gummies?
I'm feeling good, man.
You feeling like the motto I told you about?
Oh, I know. I'm melting in this chair right now.
He sampled some Vital Minds. But anyway, Shelby is a very, very motivational guy. He's killing it. I mean, top lender in the nation, right?
Yeah, it's been a long road, but we're there.
Tell him name of your company.
United Wholesale Lending.
So, guys, check him out. If you need any kind of lending, I know this guy will go the extra mile to make sure he over-delivers on the service he gives you guys. So I was going to talk about his backstory, like we typically do with guests here, and decided not to chat with him because he says mostly on a lot of the podcasts that's what they go over, and I try to go over different things that then guests go over at different podcasts and stuff like that. So I want to touch base. You told me you were an entrepreneur since you were a kid,
Yeah.
and I can't really relate with that because I wasn't personally. I don't have that story honestly with me.
Yeah.
But I love hearing that story because that shit fires me up that you were like that from such a young age.
Yeah.
So tell them about it. Tell them like the 3-4 best stories you have, and I want to touch base and talk about those.
Cool. So when you were growing up in school, did they have Marble Month?
No.
So at our school, we had Marble Month, March. Every March was Marble Month. And, you got to bring your marbles to school all month. You played marbles. And I was the marble dealer, right?
Nice.
So back when I was really young, my mom she taught me, like, look, you could have anything you want in life. You just have to figure out how to get it, right? It's like I wanted a new pair of Jordans. She would teach me, look, this is how you're going to get these Jordans. So you had a hit-a-thon when you were growing up, right?
Yeah.
Hit-a-thon,
Yeah.
walk, jog,
Yeah.
stuff like that, right? So what my mom would do is she'd say, hey, all these candy bars in this box, we're going to take all the candy bars out. We're going to go to Walmart. We're going to go 4 for $1 candy bars. You're going to sell the candy bars for $1 each. And now we're going to make $3 on every dollar because we got them 4 for $1.
Yeah.
So I'd go out and I would sell the crap out of those candy bars. And then, at when the Little League, would say, hey, how many did you sell? We'd put all the other candy bars back in. Say, sorry, we didn't sell any.
Nice.
But really, I made a bunch of loot, right?
Hell yeah.
Because I bought all my own candy bars
Hell
and I
yeah.
went out and
That's
street
straight
hustled.
hustling.
That's some
I
gangster
had
shit.
to hustle because we had
fucking love
no,
that.
there was
that
not.
sounds like something a Persian would do, actually. That sounds like something I would do. But
I mean, dude, we had to do that. I couldn't, that's what we had to do. So, like, on weekends, we get together, and the whole family, I'm talking all my brothers, everybody, right? and we'd look at the classified ads, and we'd find dirt bikes, go-karts, things like that, right?
Yeah.
My parents would literally give me the money and say, hey, we're going to try to negotiate on this dirt bike, you know? This is a good deal. But if we can get it for this, then we can resell it for that.
Yeah.
So at a really young age, I'm literally like 12 years old.
Wow.
And negotiating with these grown-ups and saying, hey, look, this is all I can afford. This is all the money I have.
And because you're a kid too, that's
They would
genius.
always
That's
go down on the
genius.
price.
Yeah, hell yeah.
You know, so then, you know, I'd make that little rip there. And, you know, my parents weren't, you know, like doing it to be malicious. Like we literally had to do what
They
we
were
had to
hustling.
do to survive.
Dude, I love that.
So
I love to hear that about your
it was a
parents.
totally
Shit.
different mindset when I was a kid. It was like, look, I know that I could get this or that or whatever goal that I had. If I wanted a new dirt bike or a new go-kart or whatever it was, I knew that I could do it myself and I could get it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I grew up, and so I went from
that explains a lot to why you are who you are, man.
That's
like
it.
I said, that's crazy. I wish I had that backstory for myself. I honestly don't, but shit, man. So that makes me ask you about your parents. Like, what made them like that? Like, because were they entrepreneurs? Were they self-employed? They were just hustlers. They turned you into a hustler, and you transitioned that into entrepreneurship.
Exactly.
So that's what it was.
Yep. So it was my mom's back was against the wall. Every dollar mattered. They taught me the value of a dollar.
That's good.
And my dad was out he was working, right? He started off working at like a cardboard box factory, became a contractor, kind of worked his way up. And my mom's a stay-at-home mom, and she didn't have the money to be able to give us everything we wanted, right? But she didn't like accept that. It came from like, well, how do I help my son understand that he can make his own money?
That's awesome.
And you know, so she taught me those, and I went from doing like regular items and reselling items to reselling dirt bikes, go-karts. I flipped cars in high school.
Damn.
And then you know when
awesome.
I put myself through college. After college, the market went down, and I started flipping houses.
Yeah.
You know, and I pulled from everybody
Hell yeah.
to be able to do that.
Went from hustling marbles, flipping candy bars to houses.
Yeah,
guys.
just
You hear
scaling
that?
it,
Yeah,
right?
Scale it. That's all you gotta
it
do.
is.
Is scale
That's
it.
it, man.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. I
Yeah.
love hearing that because I didn't know that, man.
Yeah.
So, is that all the stories you got for the back in the day?
Back in the day, that's it, man. Just hustling.
So what I wanted to talk about next was, because this is really interesting to me, because I had a short stint in the mortgage industry, and I got out like everyone else when it crashed. And honestly, it wasn't something I was passionate about. I really didn't like it as well. I kind of got to my passion's been fitness. So, but for you guys, you know, your company's been around, what, 12 years?
Yeah.
About 12 years. You're dominating over the nation, which is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
You know, but I want you to tell them what you told me. So, you know, the crash hits, you start the company 1-2 years before the crash hits, all these old timers, everyone's getting out, fucking, you know, it's not easy anymore, and Lord knows most people don't want to work. And tell them what you told me, basically.
Yeah. So basically, I started a mortgage company in the worst time in history, and the difference between me and everyone else was the fact that in my mindset, it was still positive. So even though all the world is crumbling around me, to me, I maintained a positive mindset, and I just started to adapt. So it was like, okay, we're doing home loans, and home loans suck right now. So what else could I do? And then I started, hey, short sales in real estate. I'm going to open up a real estate company, and I'm going to start doing some short sales. And then it was, okay, I can actually flip some of these houses that are being foreclosed by the bank. And I came up with this strategy to where I was buying a property that was highly distressed. I'd go in there, and I would remodel that house, and then I'd rent the house out, and then I was able to refinance it on the value. I'd pull all of my cash back out, so I had no money invested, and I would cash flow that property. So I just started being creative, and instead of being down like everyone else, everybody's just depressed, they're giving up, they're not willing to do anything else, I kept a positive mindset, and I was growing through the industry. We would pull up this thing, it was called the mortgage implode meter, and it was these banks that were going out of business.
Yeah.
And everybody's looking at that, and they were like, oh, it's like doomsday.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it like, you know what that means? I look at some of the guys that work with me, I'm like, that's opportunity.
Yeah.
Because that means that the best mortgage lenders that were working for somebody else, they're all free agents.
Yeah.
And now I can have an opportunity to recruit the best loan guys in the nation. So a bank would go out of business. I'd be like, oh, Countrywide went out. Who is their top 10 loan officers? Hey, I got a good opportunity for you. And then I'd teach them, hey, this is how you reinvest your money. Here's how we're going to get through this together. We're going to start doing short sales. We're going to start flipping houses. We're going to start building a rental portfolio. And it was a game changer. And it was all mindset.
Man, that's fucking huge, man. So you guys grew through the recession then?
Grew year after year after year.
And have you guys been doing that for basically the last 12 years, every year?
Every year.
That's crazy,
Every
man.
single year. And,
That's awesome.
and, you know, around this time every year, I'm reevaluating, like, okay, how am I going to set myself up to make sure that we're in a better position than we were, so we constantly get better as a company.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah.
That's, and mindset, like we talked about, it's everything, right?
It is. It's
Right?
everything.
So I want to talk about 2019.
Yeah.
So I've been seeing you a lot on social media.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you, as far as you, almost like you're building your personal brand, which I think is amazing. You're doing a great job.
Yeah.
Talk about what you're doing and kind of the impact you see from it.
Yeah. Well, this last year, or in 2018, I was, you know, reevaluating where I was going for 2019. I said, you know what? Things are really changing right now in life and in business and everything. I said, it's almost it would be wrong of me to not take the opportunity, because things are good right now. You know, things are good in life. We know everybody's making money right now, and I've been through some bad times. So I said, you know what, 2019, I'm going to make this the best year of my life. So what I did was I reverse engineered the entire process to figure out, like, okay, how do I get there? What does that look like? Who are the top mortgage brokers in the nation? And I figured out what they were doing. So what they did is they had media guys on their team. They're building personal brand. They're speaking in front of thousands of people. And, you know, in turn, that's when I said, you know what? That's what I need to do. I'm going to go out here and I'm going to get featured in major publications. I'm going to start speaking on stage. I'm going to hire my own media guys and start putting out content. And I'm going to try to help every single person that's in my network. I'm going to help them win, because I know that if you give and you have more of a giving mindset, then things are going to come back tenfold.
Oh, yeah.
And so I just started attacking it. I spoke in 7 different states, big places too, like Miami. I spoke in Vegas. In Vegas, I spoke on stage with huge names. I mean, Gary Vaynerchuk spoke at the same convention. Ryan Serhant from $1 Million Listing. And, I mean, it all starts from just setting that goal.
Yeah.
Putting it down and reverse engineering exactly where you want to go.
Heck yeah.
And then just putting the foot on the gas.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
How was it? So was 2019 the first year you started speaking? So these
Yeah.
7.
Never spoke on stage ever
Yeah.
before 2019.
How was that experience?
Crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, the craziest part, so the first one I spoke in, it was like 500 people, right? And that, you know, you can see their face, right? So you're up on stage and you can see if they're into it. And then you're like, okay, yeah, they like this. I'm on fire. Let's keep going. And they're writing stuff down. Every time somebody writes something down after you say it, you're like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, it
That's
just lights you
awesome.
up, right? And then you go to the bigger scale, about 1,000 people. You can't see shit.
Oh.
It's all white. And so what you got to do is you got to try to focus on one guy. And you just hope that guy's into it, because
Yeah.
he's the only one giving you any feedback.
I got you.
And it's nerve-wracking. The way that I could explain it is like, did you play football? You play sports?
I played sports, not football.
All right, well, we're kind of missing that element of the night before. You
Yeah.
kind of get jitters. You don't know how the game's going to go. When you speak, it's the same way. You're like, oh, shit, how to prepare for this?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're nervous. And then they call your name, and you're like, you got to step out on stage. You're like, how did I do? And you don't even know, because you can't even see anybody's reaction.
Yeah.
But then when you get done, everyone kind of lines up. Oh, man, it's awesome.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it's cool.
Shit. So you did that, and then with the social media and the personal brand.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've been seeing your content. I've been seeing sponsored ads and stuff like that. The sponsored ads you've been doing for the company, right?
Yeah.
How's that going? How long you been doing
good.
that? What's kind of like your advertising marketing strategy? How's that going?
It's going really good. And really, with everything that we're doing, it's coming from an education mindset, right?
I noticed that, yeah.
People want to learn, like, how does it work? How do I know that I'm in a position to buy a second home, right? Nobody knows. There's no guidelines.
Yeah.
Talking to one of my guys about that earlier, and it's like, it'd be nice if there was like a blueprint, you know,
Yeah.
of like, hey, look, when you hit this income or you do this, or here's how you know that you're ready to buy an investment property or a second home.
Yeah.
You just don't know. So what I'm trying to do is educate everybody on that journey
That's awesome.
and say, hey, this is how you do it. This is how you know that you're good. Here's how you protect yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing.
I
it's
like
going
that.
good.
Now, here's the thing. Like I said, I'm big on, obviously, advertising, social media marketing. That's what I do for this business.
Yeah.
And why, one of the many reasons why it's becoming so successful. But are you, because I don't honestly see many lending sponsored ads anymore. I don't just know, maybe they're not targeting me, but honestly, I see yours, and they're great, man. Like I said, that education is kind of what we're trying to do with Vital Minds, because the CBD people don't really get what it is, so it's huge. But are you seeing a pretty good ROI on those?
It's a little bit different because, it's not a tangible product, like with your service, like I buy this, right? Yeah. So, but yeah, we are. We're getting a lot of really good
leads
feedback.
coming in and questions and stuff like that.
Yeah, so. more so questions, and somebody might not be ready to buy a house now, but when they do come down the funnel, I'm seeing a lot more friends connecting with me and stuff like that. But honestly, the last time when I first met you, I saw you on social media, and I saw that you joined Arte, and I was super pumped when I figured out that you lived in this area.
Yeah.
So I started DMing you back.
I remember.
I came in here and met with you, and then really that's when I started putting my ad budget on steroids because you were like, dude, look, this is what you got to do. You spent that time with me.
Yeah.
I mean, that inspired me.
That's awesome. I appreciate that. Like I said, ever since then, I noticed, and I continuously see you, and I see the content's good. You got a good media team put up, so you're doing the right thing, man. That's how you do it,
It's coming around.
So as far as you, I want to talk about also, what else do you do other than the lending business?
Mortgage?
Yeah.
So I look for rental properties in Sacramento area. I'm doing a lot of education around that. I think that we're living in a really cool time where Sacramento is coming around. So there's some really good money to be made on value add opportunities in downtown Sac. We just got the soccer stadium introduced.
I know, I saw that.
Massive.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna have the Rayleigh Field, which is an awesome minor league sports stadium. We have the new arena, and we have a world-class soccer stadium.
Yeah.
Like, dude, Sac's blowing up.
For sure.
So I do a lot of reinvestment in rental properties. I flip some houses, small development projects.
Okay.
Pretty much anything surrounding real estate is what I do. I do Airbnb.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I just bought a wedding venue.
Oh, that wedding venue is amazing, actually. How was that event that you had there, by the way? I never got to ask you about that.
Yeah.
You got good
turned
feedback
out awesome.
from it?
Yeah. We had over 150 real estate agents come out, and we were just educating them. We had David Green, who's the host of the Bigger Pockets podcast, #1 real estate podcast in the nation. He came out and spoke, again, just giving value.
Yeah.
Telling people, like, look, this is how you invest in properties. Had a bunch of people come out. It's great.
That's huge, man.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, that's what I'm looking to do to diversify for myself. So, there's a lot, of learning I can take from you. So we're going to have a lot of conversations. Because, like I said, for me, I have this business. I just started another business, which is good. All my eggs are in one basket. But I'm finding the point where I can diversify. And real estate is one of the main things I want to do, where I buy at least 2 to 4 properties a year, start cash flowing stuff and Airbnb and stuff. It's more that I'm looking for, more long-term stuff and cash flow stuff, not so much flip stuff. Yeah. But that's one thing I'm trying to get into. But honestly, I don't know shit about it, to tell you the truth. I mean, I bought my first house for the first time a year ago. Yeah. So, I mean, this whole thing is new to me. So we'll have some conversations and meetings, hopefully, because I really want to get into it. I need to get into it. I know how powerful that is for long-term wealth, that kind of stuff. You can't really beat real estate, right? Yeah. So it's great. Yeah. Yeah. So, what kind of goals we got? You're incredibly successful, obviously. And as far as lending, is it something, I wanted to ask you, is it something you love? Do you have a passion for it? I do. I have a passion for real estate for sure. Now, the home loan process, it's kind of stressful for people, right? Yeah. So I'm taking on a lot of their stress. So I wouldn't say I'm in love with, doing somebody's home loan. I got you. But I am in love with teaching and educating people, because this is not, I'm not making this up, right? I own over 18 properties myself. Yeah. Right? I'm doing it. That's awesome. Yeah. So, I am cash flowing, like, good amount. I'm doing Airbnb. I'm not just talking about it. So I'm very confident, and I know that I can help a lot of other people through that process. So that's what I'm passionate about. I just got in contract on a duplex with one of my buddies, best friend in the world. And I literally got to show him, like, look, here's how much that you need to invest in this property. Here's your return on investment. Here's what your 10-year plan looks like. We came up with an entire strategy, and he is pumped. That's awesome. And I'm pumped for him because I know that he's going to win. Yeah. So
that's what I'm mostly about, is
That's
helping
awesome.
other people win, and that
So you are
lights me up.
passionate about it because you can educate them and help them in that way. And the thing that
Yeah.
I love, it's the only thing I do, is you're speaking from experience, which is the best way to do it. You're doing it. You're not telling people to invest and do this. You literally have 18 properties you're doing it with, not like some of the guys out there that are trying to preach and teach and sell people shit, and they don't even have a property.
I know.
That's the thing. There's a
hate
lot of people out there right now in all industries, which fucking I can't stand. I'm sure you can't stand. Right? Like
I hate it.
yeah.
Oh,
Just
it
that's
drives me
taking
nuts.
advantage of people.
It
you know?
is, yeah.
Because they're not speaking from experience. They're not actually living it. Well, why aren't you living it?
Yeah.
You're just trying to make a quick buck off selling something. And if you just sell someone something and you don't educate them, they're not going to do anything with it. They're going to buy it, look at it, not know what the fuck to do, and put it to the side, right?
Exactly.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So as far as so real estate, you kind of in that realm. Do you have
Yeah.
any goals to get into any realms, like any big long term goals? Like what do you envision yourself doing? Because
I mean, the thing that I like doing the most is I like the investment portion. So I like generating cash flow. That's what really lights me up. When I can go into a project and I like to hold the assets. So like rental properties, becoming a landlord, like you said, that's what I love, because that's passive income. So if I can go in, when I buy an investment property, I look for three things. I want future appreciation because of location. Perfect. Like West Sacramento. Come on.
Yeah.
It's right on the water. It's affordable. They have all that land that they're redeveloping. Like, that'd be a perfect spot. So I'd buy a place like there. Then I'd look for maybe a multi-unit, to where maybe it's some of those old homes, they have like formal dining room. Nobody needs a formal dining room. So I'd find a duplex that has 2-bedroom, 1 bath with a formal dining room. Turn that into another bedroom. So now I want to add value, and then I want to cash flow it. So I need somewhere where the rents are high. So West Sac would be a good example, downtown, midtown, things like that. But I want to find those properties. So somebody that I really look up to, a great mentor, Grant Cardone,
yeah,
right? He I would love to buy a jet, but I have to justify owning a jet. Well,
exactly.
if I was buying rental properties all over the world like him,
Yeah.
I could have a jet.
You gotta
I could
fly to get
out.
there.
You
Yeah.
gotta fly to get there.
Yeah.
So, that's I want to be more of an investor and grow that side of my porportfolio. Those are
awesome,
more
man.
of my long-term goals.
And then another thing that I know I struggle with, I talk about all the time. I know you have 2 kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
2 kids, and this is one of my biggest struggles. And just recently, over the last year, I've been able to have some free time where, over the last 7 years, I've kind of built this to a point. I have a staff in place with people here I trust to carry out stuff in the way that I expect, as far as core values and all that kind of stuff. And I've been finally being able to get, I feel like I do it better than most, but I'm finally being able to get more of that time with my family.
Yeah.
As far as you, have you found it to be a struggle with starting a business yourself from nothing? As long as you've been in business, how have you balanced family time? Because the biggest thing in this space, entrepreneurship, a lot of people end up breaking up, going, through divorces because, it's hard. We got a big goal, and as you win, that almost can kind of become addicting, and it fuels us, because we got our type of personality, and they never see their family, and they never see their kids, and that's one relationship that really suffers in entrepreneurship at times. But obviously, to us it matters the most, because that's why we're doing all this for, right? And at the end of the day, right? So how do you balance that? Has it been a struggle for you at all ever coming up, or?
Man, at the beginning it was the worst. I literally, I have to be on call at all times. If you're buying a house, you see a house at 7 o'clock at night, you have to write an offer that night, you're calling me 7, 8, 9, 10, midnight. You really don't care. You got to write that offer because somebody else might write the offer, right? So me and my wife used to struggle with that early on. And, we'd be at dinner together and my phone would ring and she'd be like, you better not pick that up. And I'd be like, I'm picking it up. And so I actually got her into the business. So she works with me in the business, which helped out a lot. And so she kind of understood where I was coming from. So we got over that roadblock. But then it was really long hours all the time. I couldn't ever turn it off. I didn't want to turn it off, right?
Yeah.
I had these goals and I was chasing them down. And then, when it really clicked for me was when I started to get around other entrepreneurs, and then they were telling me look, this was my biggest regret. Always the same thing. It was like, hey, man, look, I sold my company for $250 million, and I'm like, man, that's awesome. He's like, yeah, but I gave up my whole family. And if I could take it back, I'd have my family and I wouldn't have sold my company. And so just beating that into my head over and over, and it's literally taken to try to rewire my brain.
Yeah.
Because I have to force that on myself because now I'm already so far down the trail. Yeah. That I'm beating myself up like, no. Stop doing this. Stop looking at the clock. Why are you worried about what time you think you need to be in the office? Like, no. Spend time with your family. Stop looking at the clock. I was listening to one of your podcasts the other day, and you talked about how you put your phone down. Yeah. Now, I've tried to do that so many damn times. I hope it's still going good for you, but
it's hard, man.
Man, that's the hardest thing. And you were right. You hit around the nail. You're like, your kids, they don't know what the hell you're doing. You could be on there for doing business and whatever, but that's not how they see it. No. They think you're playing Mario Kart or something that they're doing. Yeah. YouTube Kids. Yeah. And you're like, no, but they're never gonna get it. So like that right now has been a singular focus, and believe me, my wife hates my phone. My wife too, throw man. That thing out. My wife too. Every day. Yeah. She'll take it. Yeah. She'll hide it sometimes. She's like, yo, you could get that thing back in the morning. Yeah. And it fires me up. Yeah. I hate it. Yeah. I hate when she does that. But it's real, and that I would say is the number one struggle. And there's a lot of people that aren't even cognitive of that, bro. Mm-mm. So like for me and you, we at least realize it. Yeah. A lot of people, they're like, I don't care. I'm not even thinking about what my son's thinking. They're just like on it all the time. And dude, that's
and when you're on it, you're home. You're not really off of work. Like I'm actually here usually 7:38 till around 7:30 at night. And I actually start work when I get up 5:30. I'm already on my phone, doing my morning workout, but I'm on my phone already working, And then so I'm already kind of clocked in even when I get up. Then I physically get here that I'm actually here working, and then I go home and there's still stuff. That's the thing is I'm so motivated and I got such big goals. I could always be working. And I'm sure I know you're the same exact way. But obviously, our families are valuable to us, and that's, like I said, finding ways to find that balance is, as some people don't believe in that word, but if you're not a single dude or girl, you have to find some sort of balance. If you have no family, by all means, work your ass off.
Totally. And there's a time and a place. Sometimes if you're struggling, you got to do what you got to do.
For sure.
Period. So like you handle your stuff. But the problem is that sometimes people are in a position where you don't have to do that anymore, and they're still doing it, and they're just too lost. And it's like, man, what if you got asked like, okay, hey, write down the number one thing that's the most important to you, and 90% of anyone that has a family is going to write family. Okay, well now how much time you spend with your family? How much time you spending on your phone? Then it would really kind of bring some things to light, and come to think of it, that's kind of what happened to me when I decided to make 2019 the best year of my life, because I was in my entrepreneur group, and the dude said, write down the things that you would want in life. You got a perfect life. What does that look like? And he's like, well, why don't you have that? And then, when you say he's the best lender in the nation, I was never even thinking about that. I was trying to be the best in SAC. Yeah. And he coined this phrase, and it was, the guy told me, he goes, sounds to me like you're majoring in the minor leagues because your goal is to be the best in SAC. Who wants to be the best in the minors? Yeah. Like you want to be the best in the majors. Yeah. So how do you get to the major leagues? You need to be the best in the nation. Just thinking about that, sharing it with other people. Oh yeah. And helping each other grow. I think that's massive. Man.
And that's what I'm all about, is helping each other. That's it. I mean, there's people I help. I give a lot of my mentorship time for free, honestly. Yeah. And I help people start other apparel lines, and people think I'm crazy. They're like, why would you help someone start something in the same space as you? Yeah. And I'm like, I'm not gonna put, hey, I'm willing to give me my time and give some free mentorship, but there's a little asterisk. If you're in apparel, and if you want apparel, fuck you. Like, I'm not gonna help you. Like, that's against the point what I'm trying to do. And the thing is, I have so much confidence in myself and my work ethic. What I do, like, I'll help them out, then shake their hand and say, good luck fucking competing against me because you're gonna lose. You know what I mean? Like, that kind of mindset. Like, that's great. I've given you all the tools, but good luck. You know what I mean? So, it's been, do you ever do any mentorship and stuff like that?
I do. Yeah. Okay.
You have like how do you do it?
So check this out. Like you said that. So I'm speaking in 7 states. You know what I'm speaking to?
Yeah.
Mortgage professionals, teaching them
Exactly.
what I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly.
What? But it's crazy there goes, it's the mindset.
It's the mindset
right? I
thing,
could have
man.
the mindset of like, I'm not helping anybody
Yeah.
else. But being on stage, you know how much that helped me?
Yeah.
Like, dude, it catapulted my entire business. I changed the game
Hell yeah.
over that because I had a giving mindset. So
100%.
that's what it's all about. You know?
100%, man. That's awesome. So another thing I like to ask is, how long have you been? Were you with your wife? Obviously, your kids aren't that old, so they haven't been around the whole time, right? How old's your oldest child?
4.
4. So was your wife with you since the start?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were.
Since the start of the business, yeah.
That's
Yep.
awesome, man.
So
mine was too.
So I actually got laid off from my company. The reason why I started my own company was, and again, mindset. I could have soaked.
For sure.
And instead I said, you know what, I'm going to open up my own mortgage company, right? But when I started dating my wife, I actually lived in San Diego. And I came back to Sac, and I'm like, man, who's the baddest girl I know in Sac? Coming back into town. and I'm like, oh, Kelly. I'm calling Kelly for sure. So I called her up, and I ended up staying at her house for like 2 months. I never even went back. I didn't have a job. I'm like, I'll just kick it with you.
Yeah.
And literally stayed with her for like 2 months. And then I called movers, and I'm like, yo, you think you could just move my stuff back for me? They packed up my house and moved it back from San Diego.
That's awesome.
And we've just been together ever since.
So as far as I wanted to ask you that because I'm always interested in relationships and in the business because my wife has been with me through when we had nothing and started the whole business and everything. I think that's really powerful in a relationship, especially nowadays with the way people are and relationships are nowadays. So that's good. But did you ever have like one initial goal? Like what was really your driving motivator to be successful? And like some people have like that one thing like for me it was cars. Like for me, like I used to have Porsche posters and Lamborghini posters, and I used to see those cars, and I was like, as a young boy, I remember, like, how do I figure out to make enough money to be able to buy those kind of cars? Obviously, as I grow and evolve, different stuff motivates me. Like my biggest goal now is, is providing an amazing life for my family, which I kind of feel like I checked that box off. And then the next step for me is providing an amazing life and opportunity for all the employees in my company. That's like my biggest top goal right now. But like initially, was there something that like material or non-material like that you're like, I want to get that, I need to hustle my ass off and be successful to make the kind of money to get that? Or you never really had anything driving you like that?
No, I did. And like it was always just sheer competitiveness, and it was honestly over like people that I was connected with. So it was, I want to make sure that I'm better off than every other like person kind of around me. So I was in a fraternity in college. I would never want to be like just an average guy. I had to be the guy that everybody wanted to be like. So I was outworking my competition just solely to be the best. Okay. And that's more of what I was always about. And that's I was trying to be. I'm going to be the best loan officer in Sacramento. And I wasn't even thinking big enough.
Yeah.
Right? Until it dawned on me, it's like, wow, Zach, that's your goal.
Well, that was my mindset. Honestly, like I know you talked about seeing that I was on Arte, and the biggest thing for me, because I'm everything I've built here was just me. You know, I started with $300. I mean, you kind of know my story. Like, I didn't know what the fuck I'm doing. There's still times when I don't know. I'm not very educated. I'm very good at working hard and hustling and taking massive action quickly. Yeah. And then figuring out as I go. It's kind of what I do. Where most people, their problem is, they have almost too much info, but they don't take the action. Yeah. I'm the opposite. I don't have that much info. I just take the fucking action. I'll make it work. I'll find a way to make it work.
And it always works.
And that's how it's been for me.
It's crazy.
But with Arte, it was really that mindset. Mindset for me was, I know I had big goals, but it really opened and expanded my mindset. And that's why we've been able to grow how we have over the last year and a half is mindset, which seems like you got an amazing mindset and you've always had. And that's attributed to your success. So guys, like I've always told you, is one of the best things you can invest in is yourself. Mindset. Figure out how you can build up, and that's the thing. It can be taught. It can be learned because I'm living proof of it. because you have this guy here who's had the mindset since he was young, it sounds like, and he's amazingly successful. And he talked about multiple times how his mindset pushed him along and he got over things and he's been successful and winning because of his mindset. And I'm here saying the same thing, but I'm also in turn saying I didn't have that mindset until the last maybe 2 years of my life. And those have been the most successful 2 years of my life. And it's not by chance that those correlate with each other, right?
Yep. Iron sharpens iron. You just got to keep going at it. You keep getting better, you know? So listening to the podcast, listening to other people that have done it, right? Don't try to rewrite it. Do exactly what they say.
Yeah.
And, you know, what you said is taking action. Number one, people get in their own mind and they start questioning it. And, you know, that's why I always win in real estate, because I go after something, I know what I want, and I'm the first one to attack it. And so I'm getting my offer accepted before everyone else. I'm not sitting there going back and analyzing it a million times.
Yeah.
I know what I want, and I'm going to get it. And too many people, they're waiting for that perfect opportunity, and they don't realize, like, you already have every single thing that you need to be successful. You already have all of the tools. They're all right there. They're at your disposal. You can learn it. You can listen to it. You can ask other people. I met him off of a DM. I DM'd him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, you're in Arte, and I think that's freaking awesome. Can we meet up? Like, that's so cool. And now we built a friendship. But people are sitting there, and they're like, oh, man, I hope one day that I get the chance to meet Brian. No, DM him.
Yeah.
You know, like, take action immediately.
Yeah, and that's the motto, guys. Like, that's been my motto. Like I said, that's what's caused me to get to where I've been. Do you have anything that you're wondering you want me to answer? Any questions for me or anything that you've thought about?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So, if you were to pick a few pillars to your success, right? I know you said taking action, but like, what are the most important things that have catapulted your success?
On top of taking action, that's probably the biggest one, because, you know, that's where I've gotten. Like I said, I fully admit to being who I am, and I'm true to who I am. Like I've said, my kids can add and spell better than I can, and I own that. I don't really give a shit. That doesn't matter to me. You know, I don't want to deal with math, and I don't care about spelling. We got fucking spell check, right? So that will help me with that. So as far as taking massive action, outworking everyone else. Just outworking everyone else, doing the work that you don't want to do when you don't want to do it, you know, initially putting in, you know, literally 18 to 20 hour days. And when I say 18 to 20 hour days, I fucking mean 18 to 20 hour days. There's just guys out there, they talk about how much they work, and if you really break down the work they were doing, maybe they worked like 10, 11 hours. Like, no, motherfucker, you didn't work for 18 hours today. Like, you work for 10 and you want to embellish and you know, talk about you work for 18. Like, and I'm sure you've had crazy long ass days as well, but still on a consistent basis, you know, being in the level I'm at and the place I'm at, I still consistently work, you know, 13 to 15 hour days still. And I'm still coming in here 7 days a week sometimes. You know, some people think I made it. I fucking feel like I don't have shit. Yeah. You know? I feel like I have so much more to do. My goals are so big, and they're like, "Oh, they think I have success. For me, I don't have success. I mean, I have a little bit of success. I'm happy because my family's happy. We're comfortable. We're not stressed out about finances. We can do whatever the fuck we want to do. We want to do it. That's an amazing feeling to have. Yeah. But for me, like I said, you know, I want to get into real estate investing. Mm-hmm. That takes more capital. You know, I want to buy 3 to 4 properties a year and kind of do what you're doing and building up that passive income and building that empire, because I know the value of that. I know, you know, having, you know, having 50 properties under your belt, when you get to that level, those are all appreciating over the 10 years you've had them, and they're cash flowing and all this kind of stuff. I mean, that's an amazing place to be, right? Yeah. That's what I'm working towards. So I would say taking massive action quickly without hesitation. Outwork just my work ethic, because that's what I've kind of used to kind of combat my lack of knowledge. Yeah, I'm not a knowledgeable dude. I don't like, you know, I like what I like, and that's it. That's what I focus on. Yeah. You know, as far as Arte, like, that was my first education, not college. Yep. Barely graduated high school, but I figured I might as well be part of that.
I know how much it costs to be a part of that. So to talk a little bit about that, like, how did you say, wow, like that's a lot, right?
Yeah.
So that's a huge investment.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like college.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like, how did you break down that wall to say, you know what, I believe in this, and I'm going to take this gamble, and I'm going to go for it.
And here's the thing. I mean, Andy, he was a main mentor. He's a good friend of mine now. You know, I knew if I was investing in something, dealing with him, because honestly, using his podcast and taking action on his podcast, that's what got me to 7 figures initially.
Yeah.
So I knew, you know, I kind of got to a sticking point based on what I learned from, he gives out that information for free in his podcast, right?
Yeah.
But I actually took that information, like I said, took massive action, did something from it, went from where I went to 7 figures initially.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of like, okay, where do I go from here?
Yeah.
Okay, you know, and then I had the disposable income to say, okay, I'm ready to, you know, and I'm a cheap motherfucker. I am. Like, other than my car, like, I like cars, so I have a couple nice cars.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, I wear these sweats are 5 years old. Like, I don't spend money on things.
Yeah.
Like, so for me to do that is, you know, definitely hard for me. It's not natural. Like, but I knew that I want to take this, you know, to 8+ figures, and I have huge goals for it. And in order to get that, I need more.
Yeah.
So, you know, I believed in Andy because he already helped me free to get to 7 figures. So I'm like, I'm already winning there.
Yeah.
And then Ed's amazing as well. So I believed in these two guys. Like I said, once I joined there, my mindset went. And in the last year and a half, I've been in Arte, because this is my second year in it. You know, I've almost 6x'd my revenue. So
But you had to go all in.
Exactly.
All in, a massive investment.
Had to.
You hear some people talk about like pay to play, right? And there's different degrees. People are thinking, okay, I'm gonna go to a seminar, right? And so that's a first step. Like, I'm gonna go to a seminar. What do you think about buying a regular ticket and sitting in the audience, or spending $2,000 and sitting in the front row, right? Like, us cheap guys, it took us a long time to realize, like, dude, stop paying $200 to attend.
Yeah.
You need to pay $2,000.
Yeah.
And once I started doing those types of activities, just another level.
And that puts you around, you know,
Other people that spend $2,000.
Exactly.
You know?
And then, you know, sometimes those have like the meet and greet with the people that are speaking.
Yeah.
You start building a relationship with those kind of people. And like I said, like they say, it's all around who you're around. You know, get your friend zone up. Like, if you're around people that do the minimum and don't have big goals, that's what you're going to do. If you're around people that are massively more successful than you, you're going to push because you want to get to that level.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And that's, so like I said, and for Arte, it was a huge investment for me, but it paid off like 10x more. You know what I mean? So I can't complain, right? I mean, obviously it paid off. And then as far as like a third thing I would focus on is just consistency. You know, for me, take massive action, work harder than anyone else, and consistency.
Yeah.
And those 3 things, honestly, have helped me get to where I'm at. You know, you got to be consistent with everything. You can't just do that for a week or a month or a year. I've been working my ass off doing those things for 7 years straight.
I think that not enough people understand that. And it's like, so guys are talking about me doing content, right? And they're like, man, you know, you're putting out good stuff. I can't tell you how many times that I've thought, like, man, where am I really going? You know, and it's like, dude, I've been on this train for a year solid, like putting out just good shit and over and over and over, like every day, good shit, a year. When you look at the number, you're like, man, where have I even gone? But now I know that this shit doesn't happen overnight.
No.
I'm looking at like a 3 to 5 year run before I'm going to start really
Hell
rolling.
Yeah, and that's something Ed just talked about to me personally is, you know, like because I take such fast action in the type of business I am, my knowledge from Arte, I got almost instantaneous results from being in Arte, but that's not normal. And he was explaining that to me. He was saying the things you do, the knowledge from Arte, stuff like this, stuff you're implementing, really you're not going to see for a year to a year and a half, 2 years later. Like the things you're doing now, the things you're implementing, the things you're learning, usually like it takes time to, you know, those fruits to bear. You know? For me, just like I said, how fast I implement things, the place my business was in, and the fuel we put on the fire, and the type of business I had, that was, you know, that's not normal. You know, but like you said, you're doing this now, and even for me, like we make 4 to 5 videos a day, and like even today we were making that video in the gym, and it takes time. I mean, Kyle and Scott, they're amazing at what they do. But a lot of time out of my day sometimes is taken for content.
Yeah.
You figure we're making that many videos, sometimes maybe today, like I feel like I haven't done much today, but sometimes we're making a lot of content. 2 to 3 hours of my day is made shooting content.
Yeah.
Maybe more. And it's like, for me, I feel like I already have 100 things to do, but for me, it's very important to me. I know how important this content is. And like you said, like you've been doing it for a year, you see the number, you're like, okay, where's this going? But it's gonna pay off big time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And with like people see my brand's content and with the new company's content coming out, and they're already talking about it. And it's worth it. It's worth it. So and I feel like even today I second guessed myself. We were in there and it was taking longer than I thought, and I was like, fuck, I have shit I need to do. Like, let's get this going. Like, you were coming, I hadn't eaten for like 17 hours. I'm like, I gotta get going, but we made the video and it's going to come out really good.
It worked out.
And but like I said, exactly what you said, you hit it. You've been taking the social media, you got to stay consistent with it.
Yep.
And people want that quick, instant gratification in this world, right? And they don't realize, like, you've been doing it for 12 years. 12 fucking years, and now you're top in the nation, speaking around the nation, doing whatever the fuck you want to do, living the life you want to live. Finally, you have someone you trust, that's a partner now, taking care of stuff that you would normally have been taken care of back in the day, but now you have a little more time to come here and do this. Spend extra time with your kids, your wife, and that's what it's all about at the end of the day. But it's not to say your foot's not off the gas at all. I don't doubt your foot's off the gas at all.
Yeah.
And that's just the main point.
Definitely doing more things that I love, though.
Exactly.
Focus more on what I love. And at the beginning, it wasn't like that. It was a lot of shit that I hated doing.
But you know what? You fucking earned that.
I did.
I mean, it's been 12 years of that's almost twice as long as I've been in business.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
Yeah. You know what I think some people will get some good stuff out of is what keeps you motivated when you have success. You can do whatever the hell you want. Like, why are you still motivated?
Well, for me, like I said, is these guys right here. Mm-hmm. Mentoring these guys, my amazing staff out there, creating opportunities and employment opportunities here. And like I told them, I want them to be a point in my company where, this is the core group. Like, I only have 5 people in here. Like, how many employees do you have?
100.
Exactly. You have 100. So my goal is, once we get to maybe a 15,000 square foot warehouse, we're scaling, I'm going to at least have to have 15 employees plus, right? Yeah. This is my core group right here. So my goal is to get them to the point where they invest into this. They look at this as theirs as well and give them amazing life. Yeah. That's really motivating me.
I love that.
Because I told them, honestly, my goal is to have, and Scott can tell you, Scott came on here. He was working in an ice cream shop a year ago. He came on here. His work has gotten night and day. Yeah. He's almost doubled his income in a year. As a kid, how old are you, Scott?
24.
24. Well, 24, I was fucking around, broke as fuck.
You know what I
mean? And then, Kyle came on. He's doing an amazing job. So my honestly, my main goal that keeps me motivated, like, obviously, I wouldn't mind having a couple extra zeros in my bank account. I mean, I wouldn't be mad at that. But like I told them, if I stayed making similar money that I'm making now, I can do pretty much whatever I want. And it's a happy life. But for them, they're my goal. Yeah. Building this culture and having them make 6 figures. I even fucking told them I want to have some people in the staff that make 7 figures. Yeah. Like, that's my goal, honestly. Yeah. And I know in order for them to be able to make 7 figures, the company better be up here, right? Yeah. To justify paying someone that much. So honestly, that's what gets me going, and that's what's really fired me up lately since I've reached a little bit of success. Yeah. Like I said, for me, I just like nice cars. We got a house we like. Everything's fine. If I stayed the same, I could live an amazing life for the rest. Make a couple investments a year, live an amazing life. Yeah. I'm not that greedy. I don't need that much. You know what I mean? But they really are motivating me now. Yeah. So
for me, it's a lot. I like to keep my back against the wall. You know what I mean? So some people are like you buy a new car. Well, people are like, they can't grasp the concept of putting your back against the wall because it makes you go harder. Yeah. And now, you kind of reward yourself a little bit. You're proud of it. For sure. But then immediately you're back on it. Yeah. And where I think that a lot of business owners, especially entrepreneurs, they go in and they kind of are in the conserve mode. They don't want to reinvest. They're like, oh man, I'm going to keep that right here because it looks nice when I look at it. Yeah. And it makes me feel comfortable.
What is it doing for you?
Right?
Nothing. It ain't doing shit.
It keeps you comfortable.
Yeah.
So, but, guys like us, we're like, no. I'm going to reinvest this back into my business and grow and grow and grow. And sure, it's like, you know, you have some success and you're like, oh man, this feels good. But then we take it and we hire more employees.
That's it.
We
Yeah,
hire,
exactly.
right? We start giving people bonuses. We start providing better lives for other people. So then this goes down, but then we're going to the next level, next level.
Yeah, I mean over the last year I went from 1 to 7 employees. You know,
Yeah.
A year ago I was not even a corporation. I was paying my one employee cash under the table. So I went from that corporation, 7 employees, a payroll that's more than most people even make in
Serious.
some people make in a year.
Every time you hire on somebody new, it's like, just lost all that money, come right off your bottom line. You're I hope that he works out.
Yeah, right. That's why staff's the most important because they're a big chunk of what makes your company successful.
Reinvesting in yourself. First off, it's in you. So it goes from, if you're an entrepreneur, you're a single-preneur, is that what they call it? Or single guy that runs a business? I don't know. But if you're solopreneur. So if you're a solo guy, then now you're reinvesting in yourself, in education, and you're growing that, and then you start reinvesting in employees and everything else and growing.
Well, that's it. That's the name of the game, man. Like
That's
I said, and I definitely, I am reinvested in this. That's one of the biggest ways that I even got, over the last year, with Arte and all that kind of stuff. The mindset. I mean, I went from $300 for inventory order, and our last biggest inventory order was over $600K. Talk about reinvesting in yourself. $300 to $600K. Like, I'm continuously buying new product, conditioning, reinventing it, bringing on new staff members and stuff like that because I like that feeling of back against my wall too. I kind of, from the rough times I've been through, I always got that fear on my shoulder and always kind of have that feeling regardless, but I know exactly what you're saying is, and that's kind of why I want to start to invest. And I'm looking at a couple of company acquisitions and also real estate because, I do have some money sitting around. You know what Grant thinks about that, and I got to make that money work for me. It looks nice there, but really what is it doing? Yeah. Right. Yeah. So that's why, I need to surround myself with people like you to help me educate me how to invest it because honestly I'm clueless about it. Honestly, not clueless, but I want to make a smart, especially the first investment, right? So I'm talk to people that inspire you that are doing what you want to do. That'd be you. You have 18 properties, I have 1. So man,
cool. Well, I appreciate you having me on, man.
It was great having you on. I think people get a lot from what we talked about. Guys, as we always ask you, please share the podcast. That's the only way we grow. Share it, and also please start asking me questions because I know you guys like that last Q&A podcast. As we have podcasts and have guests on, if you have any questions about what we talked about during the podcast, DM me or email me, and we'll start having more of those podcasts when we have the Q&A and stuff like that. Shelby, I really appreciate you, man.
Right on, man. I appreciate you.
I want to see you win, man, and I'm here to do anything I can to help you, honestly. That's what it's about, man. Cool. Seriously, right?
Right on, brother.
Guys, we appreciate you. We're out.
The game turned me to a monster. No